So this Tuesday, a lot happened here in the city of Gloucester, particularly between the hours of 6 and onwards that evening. A lot of different public hearings happened here in the city of Gloucester over Zoom, but the biggest one that I want to touch on today is the Espressos debate. So for a long time, there's been a dispute between the residents here in East Gloucester and the developer Bevel Waka Company, Inc., who is looking to do 8 condominiums over at 116 East Main Street. And this Tuesday, the city council adopted their decision to not appeal a decision made by Land Court Judge Howard Spiker and to grant 4 special permits that will allow the developer to build their condominiums over there. Now, this conversation has been going on for multiple years. As we know, back in 2019, the city council had originally decided to deny these permits to the developer. For a big reason why is because so many residents came out in opposition. They really were moved. A lot of city councilors initially were going to go in and vote to approve the special permits, and were so moved so they decided not to. But that might have been their downfall within now looking back, because what happened was that after going and choosing to deny these permits initially back last year, when you have to, I was talking to Steve LeBlanc, the city council president, and he explained that when you make a vote, you have to explain why you are going to vote a certain way, and there are a certain list of criteria that you have to address. And when they made that decision, it was super late at night, there was a lot of motions behind it, and they didn't fully flesh out why they were going to vote. Now, fast forward, the developer has, brought a lawsuit, and they're in the months of a legal battle over at Land Court, and Judge Howard Spiker said because they didn't do that, because they did not describe a whole lot of why they're going to vote the way they are, that it was not was not up to snuff, essentially, and that they didn't have factual evidence towards their claims to deny the permits. So then he ordered for them to grant the 4 special permits. So again, there's a lot of history, a lot of things going on, but essentially what it boils down to is that, now the city councilors have to grant the special permits unless they wanted to appeal. So that's what they did on Tuesday, was they decided they weren't going to appeal, and had the opportunity to speak with some of the councilors after the fact and see, if you were to appeal, what would have happened. And they said, either way, it would have been a lose-lose for the city. One, if they were to appeal and lose, there's an 80% chance of losing another legal battle against the developer, and it's going to cost the taxpayers a lot of money. It's going to use a lot of taxpayers' monies towards something that was practically unwinnable, according to 2 attorneys from the city and 2 outside attorneys. Now, if they were to appeal and win the court case, then the developer could have come back with a 40B, which, if we know that Chapter 40B is Massachusetts affordable housing law, and if your city does not have a 10% affordable housing stock, then any developer can come in and claim a 40B and build a 40B project, which again is if you have 20% of your housing development is going to be affordable housing, you can essentially build with going around some of the protocols or zoning processes that you have to do. And so again, if they had appealed and won the case, the developer could have come back with a 40B and built more units than they had initially proposed as the 8 units. So again, it's a lot of complicated jargon, a lot of details, but it's so crucial and so important to, read the articles, to look back at the meeting minutes and watch the videos, because it's really a narrative development here in the city, and looking at how people are interacting with developers and how the developers are interacting with the council, and what does it look like. And a lot of councilors were really frustrated with how it was going about, because they essentially said, even those who wanted the project to go forward, the fact that they feel like they're being backed up against a wall and being forced to, give these permits is kind of just a testament to how the council doesn't always have the say that we think that they do. And so really interesting conversations. I'm curious to see how this plays on in other things that develop here in the city, especially as we see more special permits come across the desk of city councilors, how this example at court is going to be used in other court cases as an example. So there's a lot of things going on. We're going to see developments happening all over here in the city of Gloucester, special permits come across the desk. And also curious to see what the 116 East Main Street looks like, 2-3 years from now, when it's 8 condominium units and there's more families here in the city.
Yeah, great work all around, Taylor. We know that's not an easy story to cover. There's a lot of things happening within it, so appreciate that. All right, let's shift gears here and talk about the maple syrup family over in West Gloucester.
Yes. So had a lovely opportunity to speak with a family over in West Gloucester, particularly a young 4-year-old girl. Might pronounce her name wrong, but I believe it's Alina. So I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. But she told me what her favorite thing about tapping syrup is watching the first drop of the syrup fall from the tree into the bucket, and just know what that's going to produce. And so the sap how that's going to produce syrup. And so I asked her a little bit more of, what her favorite foods are to put the syrup on, and she declared pancakes is by far the superior syrup. But this family, pancakes are not the only thing that the syrup is good for. So what they do is that they take the syrup and they put it in little bottles, and they give it to people who are willing to donate money for those who are working to help with the Syrian Refugee Crisis. And so this family kind of has been reading the headlines and hearing everything that's been happening both here and abroad, and just it's tugged on their heartstrings, and they wanted to do some good. And so Dave Belleville, Laura Richane, and Elena have been doing this, and all the proceeds go to the International Rescue Committee, which is a global humanitarian aid organization that helps people whose lives and livelihoods have been shattered by conflict and disaster to survive, recover, regain control of their future. And so they have been selling these. It's just a grassroots thing that's happening in their backyard. They talked about how people have been so helpful as they, they're boiling all day long in the cold, trying to, get as much syrup as they can. And people come with wood, they come with drinks, they come in just, hang out with them outside, keep them company as they do this. And what can happen is that now you can do a couple different things. There's an email, which you can find on our website if you want to contact them about getting some syrup. And, so it's about a 1.7 ounce bottle of 100% maple syrup here, just made here in West Gloucester. So it's a fun story to end the week. It's really exciting, and I'm excited for them to see how that falls out. And I'm definitely, might have to get some syrup for myself and make some pancakes this weekend. So.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. I have 2 questions.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, they're not tapping trees right now, right?
No, that's a great clarification.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they tap in spring,
Okay.
and they go through the process right now of boiling and doing all the process to get the containers. But that's a great clarification.
I'm not came from last spring. Okay. And how many trees? Do we know how many trees they're tapping?
That's okay. I didn't even think that.
That's okay. That's okay.
But they make quite a bit of syrup, and I've heard that it takes quite a bit of sap to make syrup, so I'm sure it's more than one tree. But it started out as a passion project. They just thought it was super fun. They said, we have the maple tree, so why not try? Yeah. And then it turned into this way to assist others in need. So really heartwarming and exciting, and I'm really looking forward to hearing more from them about how it's gone this year and what it looks like for them for years to come.
And I think it's something like 40 gallons of sap is 1 gallon of syrup or something like that. I have friends that tap up north, and you have to have pure maple syrup on snow. That's a big thing.
Oh,
I've never done that. So Elena, if you're watching, run outside and get a scoop. Yeah.
Oh, ice cream is fine. If there's no snow.
All right. Thanks, Taylor. Have a great weekend. We'll see you soon.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Back with Erika Brown of the Manchester Cricket. Erika, COVID testing happens soon?
Yeah, COVID free, let's say it correctly, free COVID testing from the town to all residents of Manchester. It's a big move, actually. They voted on it last week, the Board of Health and the Board of Selectmen. Testing is going to be for 2 days, free to all residents. Drive up or walk up, either one. It's going to take place behind the town hall on Tuesday, the 15th, Tuesday, the 15th, and then on Saturday, which is the 19th.
Yeah.
So Tuesday and Saturday. So this coming Tuesday, the hours are going to be basically 9 to 3 on both days. But the way they're going to organize it, or the way they're asking people to organize it, is to go by last name. So if you have a last name that begins with A to M, you should go in the mornings, and then the rest of the folks, just go in the afternoon. It's a big move for Manchester. I don't think they've ever done this before, ever in their history. but free testing to everybody starting on Tuesday, which is going to be fantastic. And I think this follows, Gloucester's been doing it for a while. I'm not sure about Rockport. Essex has not done it yet, but it's a big deal.
So,
I mean, and why did they do it? They did it because COVID has just exploded in Manchester. It doesn't feel like it because you don't really see it, but it definitely has gone up. It's gone from 30 to 60 to 75 in a matter of a month.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah.
That's a lot for that little town.
Yeah.
So just to be clear, Erika, no one needs to make an appointment. They just show up?
No, they just show up, but they do have to have proof of residency. So they should keep that in mind. So have proof of residency, and you just show up, and you show up in your car or in person, walk up. So either one. We'll be there to see how it goes. I'm thinking it's going to go pretty well. They're going to do a good job with it. And another notice on the COVID numbers is for the first time since March. In March, I don't know if you guys remember this, but they used to come out with the COVID numbers and say this number of people have COVID and this number of people are active with COVID. And these are the number of people who are coming off of COVID. They used to kind of delineate.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They stopped that. Well, this week, for the first time, Manchester disclosed there are 15 people of 70 people currently have active COVID. And they've delineated it again. And I asked why, and they said, well, it's because people are really concerned. They don't really understand what it means. And especially as these numbers get bigger, they don't want people to be overly worried, but that's what's happening. Essex has remained pretty stable, relatively speaking. I spoke with Erin Kirchner, as I do every week. They have 52 cases. So they're definitely going up as well, but it's not as dramatic as Manchester. So that's what's going to take place. And what's odd is to see this happening while the town has been celebrating Christmas by the Sea. The organizers decided they were going to, we've talked about this a lot. Christmas by the Sea is normally a weekend. They stretched it out to nearly 2 weeks to provide spacing and safety and time for people to kind of enjoy their backyard and enjoy a festive thing. But it's very odd to be going through this sort of festive thing. I mean, this weekend on Saturday, tomorrow, we have the Luminaria at the library, which is going to be so beautiful, but that'll be outside. That'll be 375 lanterns from the library to town hall to celebrate the outgoing 375th anniversary of the town.
Yeah.
And then we also have the scavenger hunt, which is sort of the elf on the shelf program for the retailers. They'll put some sort of object in their window this weekend. And then we'll also have the carolers. But all of these are outside kind of activities and outside oriented. So, it's safe, but it still feels a little odd, doesn't it?
It feels very odd, and particularly because it seems as if Manchester has been so cautious. I mean, every 4th of July and I think a couple of Veterans Day celebrations and Memorial Day, everything has been done really well in that town. So I think this spike everywhere is interesting and partially inexplicable. I mean, people are saying the Thanksgiving gatherings are causing it, but I'm not sure. I don't know. But
I do know that there was a Thanksgiving gathering in Manchester that was a little problematic, and that's the truth. So, but whether or not this particular kind of statistic is tied to that specifically, who knows? But you're seeing it in a little ways, friends of friends, and you can hear things. Richdale's downtown was closed for a couple of days because of sort of a family COVID issue. But what's really good to me personally is watching the community move through this. And what I mean by that is like what you were talking about, Heather, planning and being careful and sort of doing things in a way that is a little more judicious. And we've really benefited on the upside for that. But then you also see, people doing the right things when they are confronted with an issue like Richdale's. I mean, they had a connection to a positive test in their family. So they just did the right thing and shut down for a couple of days. Not dramatic. Nobody's sitting there going, oh my God, it's a huge emergency, but it's good to see people doing the right thing. I will say that.
Sure is. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Well, we hope that everyone can still find ways to enjoy that beautiful Luminaria event. I'm hoping to drive by.
Well, I have to say, the nighttime here in Manchester is gorgeous now. The whole winter lights thing with the luminaria, it's really fantastic to be outside and to go downtown. It's almost magical. The lights, everything, it's really pretty.
Manchester by the Sea, folks, go for the nasal swabbing, stay for the celebration. Thanks again, Erika.
Love it.